So today I want to answer a very common question that I get, if not on a weekly basis, which is what is the best post-hypnotic suggestion? So if you've done any sort of traditional hypnosis training, any sort of clinical training, some advanced trainings to talk about this with a heavy emphasis around things like hypnotic suggestions. But today, let's focus on the post-hypnotic suggestion. So what I did was I went online, I found a couple of examples just so I can refresh everybody's memory about what a post-hypnotic suggestion is. As the name suggests, it's post, it means at the end of the session. So here's some examples. Every time you see the color red, you'll remember that losing weight is fun and easy. Another example could be every time you breathe fresh air, you'll remember that you are a non-smoker. So these are obviously focused towards weight loss, smoking, but they can really be changed for anything like anxiety, money blocks, anything like that. Obviously, just changing the context is nice and easy. So realistically, you're at the end of the session and you're just about to finish the session, or you have, before you let your client go home while they're still quote unquote in some sort of hypnotic trance. You might want to say something like this. So let's say, for example, you've just been in a weight loss session. Your client at the end have had a great session. You might say, every time you see the color red, you remember that losing weight is fun and easy. Or you might even say it, give it a bit more context, like on the way home, once you drive home, every time you see a red stoplight or a red sign, you'll remember that X, Y, and Z. So it's a nice little way to end the session, but just reinforce those suggestions about losing weight. Now, with any sort of post-hypnotic suggestion, knowing when to use it is part and parcel. You might want to pre-plan these things and when to say it. But remember, a post-hypnotic suggestion is a phrase set to reinforce the session and suggestions used inside the session. Now, this is pretty straightforward. This is really Hypnosis 101. So what I want to talk about now, guys, do not use them. If you watch my content, you're probably waiting for me to say that. What I like to do with a lot of these videos is show you the things that really help you excel as a therapist, and a lot of the time wasting stuff. Now, yes, post-hypnotic suggestions, or really suggestions in general, are very sort of traditional hypnosis, like you put a client into trance and you tell them they're a non-smoker. But what's the issue around this, guys, and why we never teach our students to do them? We never talk about suggestions. You never even have to use a post-hypnotic suggestion, or even like any post-hypnotic amnesia or any sort of thing you do during the session or after the session. Why? Because always remember this, guys. When problems get resolved in the session, then processing will take over. If you don't know what processing is, or you haven't learned that, you really need to go learn this stuff from someone who's going to talk about this. Processing is where the mind starts to connect new resources, new aha moments, gives the client insight. It's really the way I like to describe it is, it's like the mind's been scrambled during the session. And at the end of the session, for even an hour, a day, even a week after, it's like the unconscious mind is putting together that puzzle so they get this aha moment or this new insight into being a non-smoker, to being, not having weight issues. We all know these are symptoms anyway, but just to give it some context. But guys, remember this. If you do real therapy, not hypnosis, I don't care about the hypnosis part. If you do real therapy in the session, then processing takes over. If you fix the real problem in the session, there is no need to give a post-hypnotic suggestion. There's no need to have your clients listen to an audio. There's no need for homework to have your clients do any homework. Why? Because the problem gets resolved, then we leave the client to do the processing. The processing is one of the most important parts of any sort of therapeutic intervention. And a lot of things that therapists do at the end of the session with the homework, post-hypnotic suggestion, all that stuff will interfere. The best way, and the way we teach our students is, I tell the students, when your client leaves your office, just leave them alone. We basically tell them and task them to go have a nap. These are the clients they're working with. You tell your client to go have a nap, go have a sleep, just get your mind off things and go live your life. Let the processing do what it's supposed to do. If you do good therapy, the processing is going to happen regardless. Don't interrupt it. So giving a post-hypnotic suggestion is like taking my car to the mechanics, having him fix my car, and then just before I'm about to drive away, having him give me the tools that he used to fix my car just in case it breaks down again. Okay, not the best example. You sort of see my point I'm trying to make. We never used them. Okay, for the decades I work with lawyers, even the students now, the demos that we do, I've never, ever, ever given a post-hypnotic suggestion because it just doesn't make sense in the context of therapy. Now, if you're doing hypnosis and you're reading a script, or you just follow, you're trying to break down a symptom, sure, go ahead, but it's not going to do anything, guys. Let the unconscious mind do what it's supposed to do. A client's unconscious mind is way more intelligent, insightful, smarter than any post-hypnotic suggestion, audio, or homework you could give it. We've got to take away that egotistical part of being a hypnotist, like we seem to know it all. We have this like power over our client. We can put them into a hypnotic state, and then we can give them suggestions. That's a real fallacy, guys. It is a fad, and it's a blatant lie. If you've been with therapy clients for long enough, you realize a lot of this stuff can just be thrown aside, and these are one of those things, guys. So spend more time trying to resolve the problem. Resolve the problem in the session. Okay, then you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. And remember, guys, as we finish this video, all post-hypnotic suggestions are based on symptoms being resolved. Okay, because 9 times out of 10, and I just throw that number out there, you might not even know what this unconscious payoff is. Unconscious payoff is our version of saying the root cause. You might not even find what that is. You might not even understand your client's problem. You will understand the symptoms because they'll talk about it, but we know fixing a symptom is irrelevant. That's just a client's guess or conclusion. So 9 times out of 10, you might not even know what your client's end result is or what their unconscious payoff is. So trying to create a post-hypnotic suggestion is just guessing, and that's all it is. It will have no impact whether you actually do them and no impact whether you don't do them. So if that's the case, don't bother. It's just more talking and more wasted time with your clients. Help fix your clients, help heal your clients, set them out into their life. Tell them to go enjoy their life. That's probably the best hypnotic suggestion you can give them. And guys, you're done with that. So I hope that helps. I'm not a fan of post-hypnotic suggestions. Don't bother with them, guys. We've never used them. We never teach them. Try that with your next clients and see how you go. Bye for now.